Hello learners, I welcome you to this session on significance of density of ocean water. In the previous sessions we have studied about significance of temperature on ocean water, significance of salinity on the ocean water. We have also discussed the horizontal, vertical and temporal distribution of temperature and salinity of the oceans. And in this lecture we are dealing with the significance of density of ocean water. After viewing this program, you should be able to define the density of seawater, elaborate on significance of studying the density of seawater, and explain the factors affecting the ocean water density. Now, what is actually density of seawater? We all have studied density at our earlier levels. So, what is density? Density is a measure of how much mass is contained in a given volume, typically expressed in kilogram per cubic meters for seawater. In CGS system, or what is called centimeter gram second system, density is measured in grams per cubic centimeter or gram per cubic centimeter, G per cc. Why density of seawater is studied? It is a fundamental physical property that influences the movement and layering of ocean water. Other fundamental physical properties we have already studied, as I told you, like temperature, salinity, we have already studied. And this one is relatively new, so we are studying it. Density of ocean water is primarily determined by its temperature, salinity and pressure. But why the density of ocean water? Why do we study it? This is because it decides whether something will sink or float in ocean. Heavier or denser objects will sink, definitely, and the lighter ones will float. How fast something sinks also depends on the resistance from water, like drag. Density plays a key role in driving ocean circulation and maintaining the vertical stability of the oceans. It also regulates heat and nutrient transport across the globe. Variations in density help form different water masses and contribute to global conveyor belt of thermohaline circulation. When you will study about subsurface ocean currents, you will study this global conveyor belt in detail. Otherwise, you are very much aware of the topics like thermohaline circulation. Density has a significant impact on weather patterns and marine ecosystems. Now, before we study density, let's study this terminology, specific gravity. What is actually specific gravity? It is the ratio of density of a substance to the density of distilled water at a specific temperature and atmospheric pressure. At 4 degrees centigrade, the density of distilled water is 1 gram per cubic centimeter, which serves as a standard for comparing other substances. So, if something has a specific gravity of 1.03, it means it is 1.03 times heavier than water. Density of seawater usually ranges from 1.024 to 1.03 gram per cc. Hence, seawater is heavier than distilled water. Seawater, can you reason it why? Seawater has salts dissolved in it, which increases its density. Distilled water is more dense at 4 degrees centigrade, but seawater reaches its maximum density at a slightly lower temperature. How to express density of seawater? In oceanography, density is often expressed using the term sigma T. Sigma, the sign of sigma and the T. Sigma represents the density of seawater relative to 1. That is, it is subtracted by 1 and then multiplied by 1000 for simplicity. For example, if we say that the density is 1.02575 gram per cubic centimeter, then sigma is calculated as 1.02575 minus 1 multiplied by 1000, and it comes to 25.75. Two related terms are commonly used: sigma T, referring to the density at the measured temperature and atmospheric pressure, and sigma 0, which indicates the density the water would have at 0 degree centigrade, thereby isolating the effect of salinity. Now, coming on to factors that affect the density of ocean water, just like we studied the factors which affect the temperature of the oceans, factors that affect the salinity of the oceans, here we are studying the factors that affect the density of the ocean water. All the things are related and it's very easy to understand. The first three primary factors are temperature, salinity and pressure. And secondary influences may include in the presence of suspended particles, freshwater input and regional environmental variations. Now let us discuss the first very important factor, that is temperature. It is the significant factor affecting the density of ocean water. There is an inverse relationship between temperature and density. So, inverse relationship means if the temperature is increased, the density decreases. Why? Because of molecular activity. As the water is heated, its molecules will expand and spread apart, increasing the volume and thus decreasing the density, obviously. And it also happens due to thermal expansion. Warm water expands more than the cold water. So, warm water has lesser mass per unit volume compared to the cold water. How does this temperature impact the ocean process? It does stratification. Warmer or lighter water tends to stay at the surface, while cooler or denser water, definitely it's heavier, so it will sink, creating distinct layers in the ocean. Or thermocline. We studied about thermocline in the last lecture dealing with the distribution of temperature in the oceans, horizontal, vertical. We studied this term. It's a layer where the temperature changes very rapidly. So, how does it affect the temperature? Affect the circulation pattern in the oceans? Temperature-driven density differences contribute to thermohaline circulation, and a global conveyor belt is formed that helps to distribute the heat and nutrients. Tropical waters, they are heated by intense solar radiation and are less dense than the cooler waters that polar areas have. Seasonal changes can also affect the surface temperature, altering the local water column density structure. Now coming on to the second factor, that is salinity. We have studied that salinity refers to the amount of dissolved salts in seawater, usually measured in parts per thousand. Higher salinity increases the seawater density because of more salts dissolved in it. Now, why this happens? Obviously, as I told you, because more salts are dissolved in it, it is due to ionic addition. Dissolved salts add the mass to the water without significantly increasing the volume, due to which the density is increased. And it also has osmotic effects. Higher salinity changes the water's physical properties such as boiling point and freezing point, which indirectly affects the density. Now, we have already studied in the previous lectures what are the factors that affect salinity. Quickly, you can have a quick recap of this. Like evaporation, precipitation, river inflow or ice formation and melting can change the salinity. If there is more evaporation, then salinity will increase because water content will be lost. Water will become more concentrated with salts, so salinity will increase, and in turn the density will increase. What will happen if there is more precipitation? So water content will increase, salts will become lesser in percentage, and so salinity will decrease. And what will happen to the density? If the salinity decreases, then density also decreases. So salinity is directly proportional to the density. Same case will happen when there is a river inflow. When there is a river inflow, so enormous amount of fresh water is added, which will reduce the amount or percentage of salts. More water concentration is there. So it will decrease the salinity, and in turn the density will also decrease. What will happen when there is ice formation? Then the water is taken up by the ice, and what remains is the salts. So in this case, salinity will again decrease. And when the ice or snow melts, then again salinity will when it melts, so water concentration increases, so salinity will decrease in this case. When the ice formation happens, what happened, that water is formed in the ice, and so water concentration goes to the ice, and what left behind is the salt. So in that case, salinity will increase. In warm regions like the subtropics, high evaporation rates leave the salts behind. Okay, so whenever there is a warm condition, then there is a high evaporation rate, and what is left behind is the salts, and thus increasing the salinity and density. So I have explained this river formation and fresh water inflow. So all these I will explain. When the ice formation is there, it leaves behind the salt. This term is also called brine rejection, thus increasing the salinity and the density of the surrounding water, while melting ice introduces fresh water, thus reducing the salinity. Now, what is the impact of salinity on the ocean processes? So, areas with higher salinity can drive the downwelling currents. Higher salinity means more density, so it will apply pressure and it will drive the downwelling currents due to increased density. So, salinity gradients contribute to haloclines. What are haloclines? Haloclines are the layers where in the ocean where salinity changes rapidly. So when there is a change in salinity, so it contributes to the development of haloclines. Similar to thermoclines, when there is a change in temperature of the oceans, a layer forms like thermocline layer where the change happens more rapidly. Now coming on to the third factor, which is pressure. Pressure is an important factor influencing the density of seawater, primarily because it is closely linked to the seawater's compressibility. When you apply pressure, you compress something. So what happens that when the layers of water are compressed, so density will increase. Molecules will come together. As the water depth increases, pressure increases due to weight of the overlying water column. Unlike the temperature and salinity, pressure always increases with depth. You know, when you studied the temperature and salinity, vertical distribution of temperature and salinity, it decreased with the depth. But in case of density or pressure will increase with depth. When air pressure decreases, density tends to decrease as well. On the other hand, a drop in temperature coupled with an increase in pressure, when the temperature drops and the pressure is increased, it typically leads to high density. When the temperature is dropped and the pressure is increased, then you get high density of ocean water. What impacts does it have on the ocean processes? Compressibility of water. Though water is largely incompressible, at greater ocean depths it does undergo at least a slight compression, leading to a small, but this is also measurable increase in density. So layer formation is there. In this case, the gradual increase in density due to pressure contributes to the formation of pycnoclines. Now, what are pycnoclines? We have studied two terms already, thermoclines, haloclines, and this one is pycnoclines. Pycnoclines are the layers of rapidly changing density. And pressure's influence is most notable below the thermocline and halocline layer, where the temperature and salinity becomes relatively stable. So, in deep ocean trenches, basins, where pressure-induced density contributes to overall stability of the deep oceans. Now, we study the combined effects of temperature, salinity, and pressure on the density of ocean water. These three factors are also interacting in complex ways to control the seawater density. Cold water with high salinity is denser than the warm water with the same salinity. Warm water with slightly high salinity may have similar density to the cold water or fresh water. Now, if the deep water is dense, primarily due to high pressure, but its original descent is from the surface, which was driven by its cold temperature and high salinity. So, you understood these three effects of these three factors. Like cold water is having high salinity, but if it is denser than the warm water with the same salinity. So, salinity is same, but if cold water is having more density, so it is denser than the warm water with the same salinity. So, two or three factors also affect the density of ocean water in a combined way. Now, what is equation of state? It combines all the three variables to calculate density. Modern oceanographic instruments use this equation to measure in situ density for climate studies and circulation modeling. Now we study additional influencing factors. We already know you can just reason out things, but let's have a short description of it. Like additional influencing factors for density of the oceans, freshwater input, biological activity, suspended particles, and atmospheric influence. Let's study these factors also. So, freshwater input, as we have already discussed, that when the river discharge, melting of ice, and rainfall introduce fresh water into the oceans, they reduce the salinity and thereby the density of the oceans. So, estuaries often show strong density gradients due to mixing of fresh water and seawater. How biological activity affects the density of the oceans? Photosynthesis and respiration can influence the local oxygen and carbon dioxide levels, slightly altering water chemistry and density. Like the decay of organic matter increases the dissolved substances, which can affect the salinity and thus density. When the organic matter decreases, it increases the dissolved substances, which affects the salinity. And then the density is also affected if salinity gets affected. Suspended particles, sediments, and organic materials suspended in the water column can marginally increase the density. Regions near the river mouths, they bring so much of sediments, or areas of upwelling may have higher turbidity, contributing to slight density variations in the ocean water. Now the last one is the atmospheric influence. Winds can mix the surface water, reducing the density gradients. Then surface heating and cooling, cloud cover, and humidity indirectly influences the ocean temperature and salinity patterns. And hence when these ocean parameters change, like ocean temperature is changed or salinity is changed, so density is also changed by the heating and cooling of the atmosphere and the surface of ocean water, and the cloud cover, humidity levels, all these affect the density. So, friends, in this lecture, we have studied the significance of density of the oceans, and we have studied the factors which affect the density of oceans in detail. In the next lecture, we will study about the horizontal and vertical distribution of the density of the oceans, and we will also study the temporal distribution of density in the oceans. Thank you.